The Buddha, with an equanimous mind, taught, all tears taste salty, all blood is red, so all suffering is the same. If suffering is the same, then how could it be different between one human and another? Even those who renounce the world to follow the Buddha still carry human emotions, love, sorrow, and attachment remain unchanged. Here, though he was a Zen master, the bond between a father and child was still unbreakable. Long ago, after attaining enlightenment, the Buddha did not forget his father, the king. Back in his homeland, he returned to visit and guide his royal family toward liberation. One day, the disciples of a Zen master received news of his son's passing. They hesitated to inform him, fearing that he would be deeply shaken and abandon his spiritual path of guiding sentient beings. Eventually, one disciple gathered the courage to break the news, believing that the master, as a great practitioner, had transcended worldly emotions. However, upon hearing the news, the Zen master was overcome with sorrow, and tears streamed down his face. His disciples, witnessing this reaction, were taken aback. They never expected that after so many years of practice, their master had not severed worldly ties. One disciple, with folded hands, respectfully asked, "Master, you have always taught us to cut off worldly attachments and strive for liberation. You have been ordained for so long. Yet why does the news of your son's passing bring you such grief? Is this not contrary to everything you have taught us?" The master explained, "I teach you to let go of worldly attachments in pursuit of liberation. Not to live a selfish life where you only care for yourself. True enlightenment is not about personal gain but about bringing peace and benefit to humanity. Every sentient being, before attaining enlightenment, experiences the loss of loved ones, causing them great pain. My son was also one of those sentient beings. All beings are like my children. I weep for my son just as I weep for all beings in this world who suffer because they have not yet awakened." His tears were not merely for his son but for the suffering of all sentient beings lost in the cycle of birth and death. His sorrow was rooted in the Buddha's universal teaching: all that is born must perish. No one is exempt, not even the Buddha himself. Therefore, one must understand that spiritual practice is for the benefit of all beings, not for personal gain. Only then does the true purpose of renunciation and seeking the path become meaningful. Buddhism teaches that the mind is the root. Thus, all things and actions arise from the mind. In Buddhism, the spirit of selflessness does not mean nothingness in the ordinary sense. Compassion is not void, nor is it driven by attachment or ego, as is the case with external doctrines that promote self-centeredness. All phenomena are empty, but in Buddhism, emptiness does not mean non-existence. Rather, it means that what appears to exist is not inherently real. For example, a glass of water contains countless microscopic organisms, yet the naked eye perceives it as empty. Only through a microscope do we see the truth. Similarly, what we perceive as reality may not be absolute, for it depends on our limited perception. The Avatamsaka Sutra states, "When bodhisattvas perceive the true nature of all things as equal, they do not give rise to thoughts of love or hatred. They see all beings with eyes of compassion, without favoritism or resentment. Regarding everyone as a wise teacher, they guide them with the Dharma, leading them toward the path of practice. In this vast world, countless beings are trapped in worldly desires, ignorant of virtue, and steeped in wrongdoing. If bodhisattvas did not perceive all beings as equal, how could they merge into the world, love all as their own children, and guide them to liberation?" Thus, true compassion is not about attachment but about embracing all beings with an equanimous mind.